This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, in American history.
The American economy is not just wobbling, it's cracking. The stock market is spiraling, the dollar is collapsing, and the US bonds, the last line of defense, are breaking down. So is this the beginning of an end to US economic exceptionalism? Well, not sure, but this is not your typical market panic. This is the beginning of something far more dangerous, a financial reckoning shaking the very foundation of US power. So what triggered it? One man, one move, and one message, and that is Liberation Day.
And its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen. In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them. Very simple. Can't get any simpler than that.
That one announcement set off a chain reaction that rocked the global economy. Within hours, the market crashed. US stocks lost over $6 trillion. That's 1.5 times the size of India's GDP. The dollar plunged to a 3-year low, and perhaps most alarmingly, US bond yields shot up like a rocket. And that is what let Trump hit a pause button on reciprocal tariff. Okay, let's slow it down. You might be asking and thinking, what's a bond? What is a bond? And why should I care if bond yield is rising? So here is the deal for you. When the US government needs cash, it borrows money by issuing treasury bonds. The bond yield is an interest rate it promises to pay investors. Normally, during a crisis, people rush to buy US bonds. They are considered the safest assets on earth. The logic is simple. When chaos hits, you run to safety. And safety traditionally meant US bonds and gold. But this time, investors are not buying bonds. They are running for the hills. Why? Because even US debt is starting to look risky to the investors. Here is the blunt truth. When bond yields rise, the government is being forced to pay more to borrow money. And that happens only when investors start doubting America's ability to repay. So if bonds, the safest bet, are falling alongside stocks and the dollar, that's not just a bad day. That's a giant flashing warning sign. This time, instead of bond yields dropping, as they should in a panic, they are surging. The 30-year bond yield just hit its highest level since 1982, and that is catastrophic. Because rising yields is equal to rising borrowing cost is equal to rising doubt in the economic system. Stocks down, dollar down, and bonds down. This trio never falls together. When all three crash in sync, it's a red siren for the global financial system. For decades, the US dollar has been the king of currencies, the backbone of global trade and finance. But now, countries are hedging. Central banks are diversifying. Demand is quietly rising for the Canadian and Australian dollar. Even gold and Bitcoin are seeing safe haven flows. Just look at the numbers. The dollar hit a 10-year low against the Swiss franc and a 3-year low against the euro, dropping to 88 cents per euro. The first time that's happened since the start of the war in Ukraine. That means 1 euro now buys $1.14. Renowned economists are warning this is not just market noise, it's a confidence crisis fueled by Trump's unpredictable policies. Trade wars, massive tariffs, exploding US debt. The message is loud and clear. The dollar is no longer the only game in town. And this shift, it's not theoretical. It's happening right now in real time. Trump always wanted to have a weaker dollar because a cheaper dollar makes US exports more competitive. But in trying to weaken the dollar, he may have triggered an economic bomb. What he wanted was a boost for American businesses, but what he got was the beginning of a slow motion of collapse of a US financial dominance. This is not just a dollar crash. It's not a stock slump. It's a moment where the world is asking, can we still trust the US to lead the global economy? In a stunning note, Deutsche Bank's George Servelos wrote, and I'm quoting, "We are witnessing a simultaneous collapse in the price of all US assets, equities, the dollar, and government bonds. We are entering in uncharted territory in the global financial system. According to Sarvelos, this historic fall signals that global investors have lost faith in US assets and are now searching for refuge elsewhere. It remains to be seen how orderly this process remains. Stay tuned because this story is far from getting over.